and we know my Aunt Joyce, she went to jail behind that one man with the no legs. She got him cheating in her house. He had no legs. Had audacity to be cheating in her house.
I'm telling you, dog.
Up there off Sylvan
Nah,
Avenue.
she's the best storyteller. Like, all this is like, that's why people love listening to our YouTube channel.
This girl say, did she say that your aunt caught a man cheating on her in the house with no legs?
He had no legs.
He got no legs.
He was sitting there like in the machine.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Show him, man.
She caught him in the bed with another woman. Sitting there like the...
I can't take it.
Then what does she do? Since you already started the story, what does she do?
This is the significant part of the story. I have to sit like this the whole time just while I say this part. So then, she was Kojic, so she really believed in the Lord, and she felt there were bad spirits because she walked in on him with another woman. So she set the house on fire, and she stole his crutches, and she ran out the house.
No, she did.
No, yes, she did. You can Google it. Her first name is Joyce. I don't remember her last name at the time. She's had like 7 aliases, but it's my Auntie Joyce. And so then the girlfriend had to pick him up and carry him out of the house. Now, luckily, this was in the 80s when they really didn't care about black on black crime. They didn't.
I never imagined my public healing would inspire others to heal across the world.
I thank you for using him to reach the world with a message of hope in relationships.
But your life does not.
God, you are my publicist. We laughed. We shared the unadulterated truth.
He said, not only have I not divorced you, I ain't exposed you.
Oh!
We didn't marry fans, we married forever. And we wanted forever to act like a fan.
Reveal her, Jesus.
I will not compromise on getting a woman of God.
You don't have to.
And Father, I declare for his future wifey, thank you for preserving her.
This season, I declare miracles and
See,
manifestations.
you selling scripts.
And you're unique. You ain't like nobody else. I noticed that right away. You being true to who you are, you're going to attract. It's a Hebrew word, hayil, and it was translated wealth, and it means people, it means men, it means resources, and it means means.
I'm Lateris R. Whitfield, and this is the Dear Future Wifey podcast.
Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Lateris R. Whitfield. Man, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, can you just hit that subscription button and subscribe? Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. And if you listen to us on streaming platforms such as Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts, make sure you subscribe to those streaming platforms, leave a review. And so a lot of people can learn about the Dear Future Wifey podcast. We consistently stay top 10 on Apple Podcasts, so let's keep it that way. Man, today's episode is going to be great. I'm a fan of this show, and so it's an honor to have these guests on the podcast because, I always want to know how much is real, how much is TV, how much is reality, and how much is real life. And so I brought this couple on because they're going to keep it lit. Y'all know the show mantra is we keep it lit, we live intentionally and transparently, and so it don't get no litter than this. And so we about to keep it litty. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. My new homies, Symone Redwine and Rashid Floyd. What's going on, people?
Thank you for having us.
What's going on, sir? Thank you so much, man.
Man, listen. Man, I met y'all a couple of weeks ago in Houston at a cocktails and conversation event that I was hosting, and y'all some opinionated folks. I'm like, boy, they gonna keep. I like people who like to share their views and their opinions, so I love that. Y'all were on the hit show OWN's Ready to Love.
Yeah.
And today we're gonna name this episode Ready to Marry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ready to marry. Ready to marry. Now I'm gonna tell you, y'all are the first couple that I'm aware of. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all are the first couple that I'm aware of that actually made it to an engagement on the show Ready to Love. Is that accurate?
Facts.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I saw the season premiere, and they had you guys on there, and that's when the big proposal went down. Some people felt like it happened before that because y'all also have a YouTube channel where y'all share y'all journey and talk about stuff or whatnot. So let's go ahead and come out the gate. What came first, the proposal on the show or what they saw on the YouTube channel?
Definitely the proposal on the show.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was proposal on the show. As many people know, and some people don't, a lot of this stuff is recorded months and months ahead of time. So I get the confusion, but everything is organic. We're not actors. It was
not at all.
I said Symone falling on her knees.
Yeah,
Symone falling on her knees like that, crying. I said, ain't no woman just gonna duplicate that twice.
Right.
I couldn't. Yeah,
No,
I couldn't.
not at all.
No, it all happened on the same day.
Yeah.
It just aired later. So first was that during the day, and then after, he surprised me with the best surprise engagement party ever and flew in 30 of our closest friends and family to enjoy that evening for dinner and drinks.
Why was that important to fly them in?
Man, you know what? One, this was all a surprise. She had no idea that she was going to get proposed to. Who tells somebody in advance, right?
By the way, I'm proposing you tomorrow.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So
Act
be
surprise.
ready. Yeah,
Act
act surprise. So the whole deal was, she knew we were going on the show, right?
Yeah.
She knew we were going on the Miami season of the latest installment of Ready to Love, right? But all she knew is we were going on as OGs, kind of success stories, and we were going to kind of coach these new castmates on how to go through the process, right? So with that being said, I was trying to throw her off my trail, okay? So I tried to make her think I was going to propose on her birthday.
Boo!
Right. Well,
We don't want men.
I know it.
We don't
Tell
want you to do that ever. First of all, do not propose on our birthdays. And as an attorney, I'm also saying don't you do that, because then it's considered a gift, okay? If you propose on a non-birthday, don't do it on Christmas Eve. It's a gift.
Right.
We don't got to give it back. If you change your mind, if we change our mind, we got to get that ring back.
Symone, so you happen to brothers with a little game, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that was some free advice. That was free advice that if you propose to a woman on her birthday as a gift, you cannot ask for that thing back. So you got to do it the day after.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Birthday adjacent or something
Jason.
like that.
Yeah.
Birthday adjacent.
My birthday's January 4th, right? So it's right after Christmas, New Year's, and all that. And I was like, this is so cliche. I literally would be ironing a shirt and be like, please don't propose on my birthday.
Right.
She was like,
guys-
girl, you're not finna tell me what to do.
Right. So guys, listen to that though, because I
Listen.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Some guys didn't know. So initially, real talk, I was trying to propose on her birthday, which is January 4th. This just passed, 2023. Okay, so long story short, I try to distract her, throw her off, right? Because the network reached out and said, hey, they see our story on our Ages and Stages YouTube channel, right? So it's like, are wedding bells in the future? And I told them, yes, I do plan on proposing January 4th, 2023.
Stop. What did they see on the YouTube channel that made them feel like this was lasting?
So we share a lot on our channel.
Yeah.
It's called Ages and Stages. And what we do, it's a relationship-based podcast where we talk about things that we go through at different ages and stages of life. We also do reviews of Ready to Love. So we did an episode where we talked about moving into together with one another, to share that with our community of followers. And we've also done things where we had tough conversations. We exchanged credit reports, background checks, things that people don't do in the beginning. Because
that made you mad?
Oh, yes, because mine was worse than his. I feel like I'm out here doing background checks on people because that's what I do. I love my friends. I background check their boyfriends without their consent. And then... that's what love look like. I only tell them if I find something bad. If all is good, we don't have anything to discuss. So I run it. It got the nerve talking about something. I got an eviction. Eviction who? They filed. I got it dismissed.
That's what happened to me. That happened to me before. What happened was they had filed, but I paid before, it was that. And that was sitting on there for years. You know what I'm saying? That was in 90s. That was in 98.
He still holds that over my name. He said, you the one with a criminal record.
Right.
It became criminal. It's a criminal record.
It came up on the criminal background check.
On the criminal side.
Yes, the eviction. It came in on that. I was like, the police didn't even tell me or nothing. I've only had one guy call the police on me, and even then I wasn't arrested. That's for a different day.
Right. We tell that story before.
Yeah, let's focus on that.
So the reason we did all this, man, is because I've been divorced, right?
Yeah, me too.
And we didn't have those tough conversations up front.
Exactly.
It was all lollipops and rainbows.
Yes.
So I'm like, let's have the tough conversations up front and let's share that with the people.
Yes.
Because they have followed our journey. They love us from the show. Let's continue that. So that's why we call it Ages and Stages. So with that, they have seen all that, right? So my crazy self was planning on proposing January 4th for her birthday.
On her birthday in 2023.
2023. So anyway, I distract her by, hey, I'm gonna do something big for your birthday. Let me get all of your friends I need your most important friends, not associates, not people you just met on the way in, right? Not 2 weeks ago. So I get those names. So that's what I did. I was able to invite, I was able to invite them to Miami in January for this surprise party. The reason why I did that was because what woman doesn't want to share that experience with her friends and family, right?
Thoughtful.
It's different to just make a phone call or a FaceTime.
Yeah, but they see it.
I wanted something tangible so she could hug her mom and dad, hug her best friends, right? So that's how I set that up. And then I told everybody, hey, make her think that this is for her birthday.
Yeah.
Right? So go ahead, baby.
Yeah, so it was really beautiful that he had done that because I'm a traveler. I love traveling. The first episode of Ready to Love, they told me up because I ran around asking all the men, do you have a passport?
You sure did do that. You sure did.
Because I'm a firm believer. How you going to tell me I'm the prettiest girl in the world? You ain't never been nowhere.
Oh, wow. Okay.
First of all, and secondly, it's a nice way to say, sir, do you have any felonies?
Because you ain't got no, you can't
Because
be
you can't
traveling.
get a passport if you got felonies. And you, sir, do you have any child support arrears?
Because you can't get on no plane when you, boy, I'm trying to tell you.
So it's a 3-for-1, ladies. It's a 3-for-1.
Another free game. Free game right there.
So
free game.
I love that we were on a trip and we could do that. But him being able to get my family out there, it made me feel so loved because I'm the oldest of 3. I'm used to being the one to like look out for others. And I often don't want to inconvenience others.
Where's your family from?
Round the corner.
Where? Say it out loud. Say that.
Oak Cliff.
Yeah, Dallas, Texas.
Dallas.
That's what I'm talking about. Where we at? So yeah, Symone from here.
And so to get my daddy, this was on a Wednesday. To get my daddy is a Dallas, Oak Cliff OG. Okay, my dad is from the West Dallas Project. Lead poisoning and all. Okay, he done been through some things.
Yes.
So you cannot get him on an airplane on a random Wednesday if somebody is not dead. You know, you got to go to a funeral. And so that was just wonderful to get all of those people out and to celebrate with us. So that also let me know, like, he sees me, he hears me, he hears even what I don't say.
That's
so,
good.
yeah, man, I flew down here to Dallas, surprise, and sat with her parents and did it formally, man. Asked the parents for their hand in marriage, the whole 9 yards. Because I'm a traditionalist, man. I was raised that way.
Me too.
I flew out. I made her think I was delivering a car because that's why I fly all over the country, delivering the cars and stuff to people. So I told her, hey, I got this big client. I need to fly into Dallas. Her mom actually picked me up. And I came and spent the night at her parents' house.
You did?
To her,
Up the street.
That is
talked to
dope.
her parents, talked to both of them. Her dad kicked the mom out the room. I'm like, oh boy.
He said, let's talk.
Yeah, let's go. But man, he gave me something so profound, bro.
What'd he say?
Man, I'm going to use this. If we ever have a daughter. So I'm talking to him. He said, listen, I've been married a long time. Things happen. Y'all going to not like each other on certain days and months, and you're going to get on each other's nerve, but just do the work. It's hard work. But promise me this. If something goes awry, something goes wrong, return her back to me how you found her. I was like, bars. I was like, say no more, OG. I'm like, and I told him, I'm stealing that. I said, you don't have to explain. I don't need any more context. Bars.
Listen, I wrote a note to I wrote a contract to my now he's my son-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter just got married on December the 30th.
Okay, congrats.
26 years old. And so they went to college together, and his father isn't present in his life, and so I was, the father figure in his life. And when I dropped him off at college, I said, return her how I sent. I said, return her how I sent her unopened.
Right.
I wrote him a note. She hates that to this very day. I said, listen, I ain't gave you I did not give you to him yet. And I said, you still own, I own you. You belong to me. But they talked about that at the wedding a couple of weeks ago. And his mom was like, I hate it when she said that. I said, that's what fatherhood looks like. I don't need your permission. You know what I'm saying? And so I love that. And so what he was saying is that whatever happens in this marriage, I want you to make sure that you protect her heart throughout, and make sure that if y'all, God forbid, that it didn't work out, that she's not so traumatized from it, from some toxic behavior that you had, that now she's broken and destroyed, and it's going to take years for her to recover.
Correct.
And so that's an amazing thing for him to say, because he gave you grace. He gave you grace in that statement to be able. He didn't threaten you. No. If you do this, I'm gonna kill you. All that stupid stuff like
that. That don't
ever work.
No, it doesn't work, and it doesn't help. I feel like I can't come to you. This one tattletales on me. Oh, the doggone time.
You be telling her daddy on them?
Oh yeah, they love me. They think I hung the moon.
I know it, because daddy would come and be like, "How you doing, baby girl?" I was like, "I'm fine, daddy. Is everything okay?" Yeah. Listen, baby girl. I just want to tell you. Don't be so hard on that man. He really trying. He going through some things. You got to, watch how you talk to people too, because it is like, yes, sir.
How does that feel for him to say that?
Wonderful.
Why?
I'm glad that they have the relationship, and 2, I know he's right.
That's good.
But I'm a person who lets the people who I know love me give me feedback.
Yes.
Because to love me, you have to let me be me. Like, I have a big personality.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you do, Symone.
Thank you. And so I know the few times, right? And I'm one of those people, you can't correct me on everything or I won't listen to you.
Yeah.
But I know that the few times that my friends come and say, hey, let me talk to you about something, I know that they mean it with love.
Good.
And half the time, they're probably kind of scared. Like, how's she going to respond? What she gonna
pop off on me.
So, yeah. So I know that they really mean it. And then I really love that in some of our toughest times, he has called my mom and my sister and said, how can I best communicate with Symone?
That's good. That's good, King.
Yeah.
That's
and
good.
I thought about it. The first time I found out that he did that, I said, wow, I'm proud of myself for not cussing him out.
Yeah, because the first thing, like, why are you telling them about?
Right, why are you telling them my business? Like a younger, a 21-year-old
Yes.
immature Symone would not have received it for the blessing it is, which is he feels he has a village who will hear him process, and it's not going to be a Symone is always right, even though I'm their family. And I think because we have tools like that, I'm very excited about our marriage.
When I tell you that's beautiful, I need people to hear that. I need that to resonate with people. Because at the end of the day, we invite all these people to the ceremony. We have all these people. Sometimes they have the bride side on one side, the groom side on the other side. They come together, they walk down the aisle, families merge. But then the process getting to that place, you don't give people the space and the grace to be able to speak into y'all so that y'all can ensure getting there. And then to form a village around you that you can help. I ain't talking about telling everybody all your business, but the people that you know that really, really can see both of y'all and have y'all's best interests and said, we're going to make this relationship the main thing. It's not a Rashid thing. It's not a Symone thing. I see that y'all love each other. Let's help keep y'all together. And when y'all feel that y'all have the support of y'all's community, pulling y'all together and rooting y'all on and supporting y'all will never see the courthouse in a divorce.
100%, man. And that village I leaned on to help this whole surprise. Because she's in church. She almost caught me a couple times. She knows you now, bro. Like, man, I had people call me, say, hey, Rashid, she getting close. Proposal. Yeah, tell my Ashley. Somehow put a ring on it. Man.
What happened? How were you catching wind of it?
So I started, he was being too nice to me, really. That's what it was, buddy. He was being too nice. All right, so we always have this thing.
Too nice.
I've always wanted him to pay for me to get my hair and my nails, and I've never really had a guy do that, except for like a drug dealer, but they don't really count. Yeah. I aged out of that system.
They don't really
I love these little comments you throw out there. Little drug dealer. Yeah. And when a guy called the police on me, but we ain't going to talk about that. Yeah.
He's moved away. He's not in the district anymore. It's fine. Yeah, there's other jurisdictional issues. So his thing was, I was like, babe, don't you want to pay for me to get my hair and nails done? Because he's like fancy. And I was like, oh, maybe I could have like the fancy life without, the felony issues. And he was like,
tell my philosophy right now.
He was like, baby, I love you, and I would do anything for you, and I would work really hard for you. But I feel like that's personal maintenance. Like, that's hygiene. You need to get your hair, your nails done, your hair done. Now, I will supplement it. He'll send me a cash app, be like, here you go do it. He's like, but that is not my responsibility. That is not my household chore. And I was like, man, that's ridiculous. Because he gets his pedicure and his nails, like the clear or whatever, pretty regularly. So I was like, well, you could just invite me. He said, I'll invite you, but first you got to do it yourself. Because I be in there at Walgreens getting the stuff and trying to do it myself. Right now, like, look at y'all. It's been rough. But so what happened was the week before we were going down to Miami to film, I said, oh, baby, you think this week you could take me to get a pedicure? He goes, sure. I said, oh, got him. He's going to propose. So I called my girlfriend. I said, Ashley, I think he's finna do it. She said, why? She said, because he said he's going to pay for my pedicure.
Now, mind you, Ashley,
that let you know that he was going to propose?
Yeah, because he was going to pay for the pedicure.
Now, mind you, Ashley knew about it. Ashley was one of the invitees.
She was one of the invitees. And so, luckily, she knew about it, and she loved it. So she was like, this is my crazy friend, who's also brilliant. And she knew I was real smart. So she was like, oh, girl, Yeah, pedicure. Maybe he don't want you on TV with crusty feet and broken, halfway falling off the press-on nails. I was like, oh, she was like, because you ain't even shot for a ring. Like, she was like, have you even shot for a ring? I was like, no. She's like, does he even know your size? I was like, well, no. She was like, does he know what style? I was like, no. She was like, girl, he not finna get you no ring. I was like, oh my God, he's not.
Then she got mad.
Then I got mad.
Then she got mad, call you.
I got so mad. I called and I cussed him out. I said, this is ridiculous. You just got me living in sin, shaking up. I deserve better than this. I don't know that I can take you seriously. And I am angry, and I mean these words. I mean all of them.
Symone, what'd you say? He got you living in sin?
He got me living in sin. Indefinitely.
Right.
I'm a lawyer. I'm barely going to get into heaven anyway. And here you go, just making sure I don't cross over the threshold. I was livid. And then I said, you know what? This is ridiculous. If you're not proposing, then I'm going to the Essence Festival this year. He's like, what the hell does that got to do with anything?
How do those correlate? And I was like, you know what? Go. Take your cell phone.
He said, take your behind on. Yeah, he was like, you're not finna rush me to do nothing. Essence Festival. Go on then. You sound crazy. And he hung up in my face.
Mind you, it's a week before our Miami trip, before she's actually about to get this ring. And I'm going to myself
did she make you mad for real?
Yeah, she made me mad. I'm like, girl, relax. Like, sometimes,
What you say? You ain't finna rush me to do nothing.
At all. And that was a real
Something
talk.
he was going to do the next week anyway.
Yeah, he's like, oh.
And I was so serious. He goes, so he called me back. He said, I shouldn't have hung up in your face. He was like, but that sounds crazy. I said, well, I just want to be clear. He was like, why? What does Essence Festival have? I said, well, I thought that you were taking me seriously, so I'm not giving you 2 government holidays in a row. You want my 4th of July and you want my Memorial Weekend. That's unreasonable. Because his son's birthday is Memorial Weekend. I gave him the entire weekend. Do you know there was an entity that was going to pay me to wear a bikini and run around in the Dominican Republic for free on a beach, celebrate Memorial Weekend, at one of those, single people events. And I said, no, I'm trying to get a ring.
All facts.
I was angry. I was unhappy.
Leading up to that,
you said, I'm not giving you 2 government holidays.
I wasn't doing that. That was unreasonable. Enough is enough.
Mind you, I already got the ring, designed everything, sitting there ready to go.
He was like, this is ridiculous. You chose to give me that government holiday. Right. He was like, it was my son's birthday. It was Memorial Weekend. And it wasn't until this moment that I realized how ridiculous I sounded.
You said this moment?
Yeah.
So then we had...
God, I put him through a lot.
I had the real come to Jesus meeting after that. Remember what I told you?
What'd you say? What'd you say?
So
I was like, listen... No, I'll tell you. I know what you want to do.
You say it.
But what I told her, I said, listen, I told you when we first started dating, I am not going to waste your time. I'm very intentional.
Good.
Because I value marriage. I'm a better man married. I value it.
Yes.
So I'm not going to waste your time or mine. We're at different, pardon the pun, ages and stages. I'm not going to do that. I'm intentional about it. And so we're going down the right path. Just sit your behind down and relax. Like, I'm a real man. Like, I'm not gonna play you like that. And then you can elaborate on what I told.
And he had said, and you sent me a text that said, I'm not like these other brothers that you have dealt with. I'm not gonna tolerate this immature foolishness.
Teach, King.
He said, I love you and I'm going to expect the best out of you. This immature behavior will not work. It is unacceptable and you need to do better. And I was like, he was like, I love you. I will marry you one day, but it will be on my time when I am ready and when I believe that I can give you the life that you deserve.
Ooh.
And then I was like, yes, Daddy. I said, it's okay, baby. I don't got to go to the Essence Festival.
Right.
I ain't got to go to the Essence Festival.
And I gave him 2 government holidays.
He gave him 2 government. When you say ages and stages, what's the age difference between the 2 of y'all?
We're at, let me see. I'm 45.
Don't take my age.
Y'all have a whole
Around
podcast.
about 5 years.
Five-ish years.
Five-ish.
I'm the elder. I'm old.
5 to 7.
5 to 7. You're gonna make the stretch.
Yeah, because she said COVID stole 2 years from her.
They
Yeah.
did. They
So
really
she's gonna
did.
repeat a couple of
You're
birthdays.
gonna repeat a couple
That's
of
correct.
And so when y'all look at that journey of that, could she have done anything in that moment to interrupt you actually proposing the next week?
No. I'm locked in. I was locked in. But you have to accept the person and know their personality and know what their triggers are and how to kind of center them and bring it back. So with that, having those conversations with her mother and sister, that was real, bro. Like,
they told you how she
to
operate?
communicate with her. And I knew.
What did they say? What did they say to teach you how to communicate?
Her mother, I mean, she doesn't get too high or too low. And I called her. She said, yeah, that's her. She said, well, baby, this is what you do. And this is how you do it. You have to meet her where she's at sometimes. And you have to be matter of fact with her. Because she's brilliant. She went to Cornell Law. Like...
Oak Cliff educated, Ivy League educated. Okay.
Yeah, so I call her all the time.
Educated, Ivy League educated.
Right,
She got the best of both worlds.
I call all the time. She's the...
She gonna cut you and then represent herself in the...
So,
I always told him, I said, baby, you don't have to worry. I will never murder you. I'm just going to have a very expensive slip and fall in your mansion.
yes.
I am. And then I'm going to make an insurance claim and I'm going to be a millionaire and then I'm going to
She
own
never
it.
wants to lose her bar license.
Yeah, I'm going to own it and you can't bring no little girlfriends over there no more. No, you'll be alive though.
She got little girlfriends over there.
I call her the Ivy League educated Cardi B. Period. That's it. She's the best of all
That is hilarious.
So I have to give her things that she can understand.
Good.
And clarify those things. Once she understands it and wraps her mind around it, and she'll go into her whatever closet she needs to go in,
Yes.
whether that be prayer closet or crazy closet. You decide. And she'll come out and she'll say, you know what? I heard you. I apologize. And this. And that's how I learned to communicate with her.
So you will come back and apologize, Symone?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she does.
You have to. I think that like when you think you're right all the time, then you're wrong.
Right.
And if you're never the problem, then
You're the problem.
You're the problem. How are you ever going to get any better, right? If
Yeah.
people can't critique you, if you can't go back and say, "Oh, I could have done this differently,"
Yeah.
even if what you do differently is just pick a different person, like pick somebody who don't call the police on you. You know, that's one thing you can do different.
Pick somebody that ain't gonna call the police. So let's reverse engineer this. How did we get here? How did we get to this whole engagement? Y'all were on a show called Ready to Love. What was y'all's connection during that moment? We got a chance to witness some of those moments,
Right.
but take us back there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, babe. You want to
I
start?
think I started with being very, very ready to love. In fact, at the top of the year, I was dating a poor person, and it was I was living in
Symone,
Dallas.
you gotta quit throwing shade while you're talking. You always throwing shade.
Okay, but this is very important, ladies.
What year was
This was beginning of 2020.
So 2020, you was dating a
Pre-pandemic.
you was dating a poor person.
He was poor, and
Well, he got to be
and
poor.
it was. And it was, he was just like really content with it. And he felt that it was my responsibility to just be more patient with him. He was like 40 at the time. And I was like, sir, tell for some results. You know, the rapture could come any day now. And he wouldn't get out of my house. He wouldn't pay anything towards my mortgage. He was like, what's your mortgage? You were going to pay it anyway. And
He said,
yes, he did.
look at my shit.
He said it. He said, well, it was your mortgage. You were going to pay it anyway. I thought you'd give me some time to get on my feet. But those were his words.
Wow.
I met him drunk in the Dominican Republic. I blame Jack Daniels.
Dog, it gets worse.
There she goes again.
Yeah.
Drop
But he went to
another one.
Morehouse. So, like, he had a foundation. And I reviewed his resume.
And his big criminal background.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. He worked in finance, so I knew it couldn't be too bad. So he moved to Texas allegedly for me. He was who I was dating at the beginning of the year. And it had gotten so bad that to get him out, I had to, I would like leave town and I had one of the Google Nests and I would turn the heat up really, really high. Like sweat him out. Like it was hot yoga.
Rihanna
But
over
on
there laughing.
McKinney Avenue.
Rihanna's a technical director. She over there laughing.
Bro.
I had to sweat this Negro out of my home.
Oh, God, I can't take it.
Right. And I just said, I can't live like this. Like dating in Dallas just wasn't for me. It hadn't worked. I said, I have to take my talents elsewhere. I did.
So how long did that
I moved there.
last?
Yeah. So like a month later, within 30 days, I made a plan. I was like, where can I move to where I don't have to take the bar
Oh, you moved
again?
away from him for that reason?
Yeah. I moved away from Dallas. I moved from him. I said, just the quality, it was that bad. I said, because these men, I'm going to go to jail behind them. I'm going to go to jail behind them. And you know my Aunt Joyce, she went to jail behind that one man with no legs. She got him cheating in her house. He had no legs. Had the audacity to be cheating in her house.
I'm telling you, dog.
Up there off Sylvan
No,
Avenue.
she's the best storyteller. Like, all this is like, that's why people love listening to our YouTube channel.
Did she say that your aunt caught a man cheating on her in the house with no legs?
He had no legs.
He got no legs.
He was sitting there like,
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Show him, man.
She caught him in the bed with another woman. Sitting there like the...
I can't take it.
Then what did she do? Since you already started the story, what did she do?
This is the significant part of the story. I have to sit like this the whole time just while I say this part. So then, she was Kojic. So she really believed in the Lord, and she felt there were bad spirits because she walked in on him with another woman. So she set the house on fire, and she stole his crutches, and she ran out the house.
No, she did.
No, yes, she did. You can Google it. Her first name was Joyce. I don't remember her last name at the time. She's had like 7 aliases, but it's my auntie Joyce. And so then the girlfriend had to pick him up and carry him out of the house. Now, luckily, this was in the 80s when they really didn't care about black on black crime. They didn't. So we were able to show her paperwork, like her crazy paperwork, to show that it was just a minute. She got into some bad crack when she ran away at 15. No, this is my real family. This is true.
And she said, "I do."
Yeah, and this is what he signed up for. So I just say that to say all of that was
Where are we going? How did we get here?
It was an example of bad Dallas dating. It was an example of why I ran away from Dallas dating. I'm sorry. It was an example of how difficult dating in Dallas was for me.
But she had to move. She had to take her talents elsewhere.
And I met him within 3 months of moving. I met him, and
you met him before the show?
Briefly, I met you. I saw you at like something.
We didn't meet though. Like it was.
Yeah, I didn't meet him. Like I saw him around town.
And then it was like,
I think you had that hat on too. I didn't like that hat.
No, it was a different color.
I don't
Shout
like
out to my guy Keith and James. Man.
Wait.
The hat is very nice. It's the head shape. Like there's a different shape that's more flattering.
Continue.
Okay. My point is. Excuse me. When we met on set, I was like, okay, this is what I came down here for, you know? He had a degree, he had a passport. And actually, ladies, one of the things that I really wanted after I turned like 35 is I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna make an excellent second wife.
You said that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
So,
Tell me why. Because I've heard, I'm going to say this.
Yes.
I've heard women say that men make better second husbands. So the second time they get married, they're better. Why do you think that, for you to even say that before that?
I believe that because first, I believe there's only 2 types of divorced men that want to remarry. There's only 2 types of divorced men. Those who want to remarry and those who don't. And the ones who do want to remarry are so deliberate. They're so intentional because they don't want to make that mistake again. So they come with this lack of, I hate the word, we use it all the time, narcissism. They come with this lack of it because they know that something could have been done differently before.
That's good.
So they work to tweak and figure out, okay, what were some of the things that I should have done differently? And then as I enter my new relationship, I'm going to focus on honing and correcting and doing better than I could have done before and know that I can't possibly be always right. Because if I was,
I wouldn't be divorced.
Still be married.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I said, let me get one of them. Give me one of them.
Girl said, let me get one of them.
And she roast my leg.
So y'all see each other on the show. We see the first interaction that y'all had.
Yeah.
Take the people, some people may have not seen the show. Yeah. So take them back to that first encounter.
Yeah, let me take the mic for a
Please,
minute.
go for it.
Yeah, come on.
Come
on,
Rashid. Back on. Go ahead.
Come on, Rashid.
Yes. So no, anyway, so we gonna set and they bring us in individually and we start mingling. And I saw this pretty little thing. You know, she had a nice dress on and all this kind of stuff. And I'm past the cliche stuff, dog. Like, let's be 100. I'm a guy. We're visual.
Yeah.
I gotta see you first. I've never been accused of having bad eyesight at all. Like I said, okay, hey, how you doing? So I come up to her. She got this little Southern belle. She could turn that on too, the little Whitney Gilbert type stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, how you doing? So we were having drinks. I said, hey, how are you? And I forget what she said. And she's like, I'm doing good, da, da, da. She said, I'm here for love. I said, oh, really? You are? She said, well, what makes you think that? Because I'm looking at it. I said, well, okay, shoot.
I remember that. Yeah.
So, we started talking. Okay. She was witty. I love witty. I'm a psychosexual, bro. I love witty. Boom. Let's bounce it. Let's have that interaction. Let's volley back and forth. So at that point, I was like, okay, interesting. Check. And then let me circle back around because we was all moving and grooving. So we get in the midst of things. I start hearing, and she starts talking to the other guys. Ooh, Symone asking all these questions, passport and this that, and the third, and you got any baby mamas and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was looking for passports and illegitimate children.
Right. So then we start talking. I tell her, yo, I'm divorced, right? She said, okay, great. I think I'll make a great second wife. She 100. So I'm like, okay, cool. She's like,
you said that then?
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, I have one child. I have one son. I said, okay. She's like, well, that's fine. You're divorced, so you fit my criteria. I said, what do you mean? I was like, she said, I either like a man where the baby mama's dead or he's divorced. I said, dead, like in the ground?
Or your baby mama dead.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the hell? I've never heard that logic. Mm-hmm. And she explained later on in the show. They never showed that little clip. It was outtakes. They never showed the little clip. I don't know why. That's TV gold.
I'm telling you.
Dead or divorced or in the ground. That's
they have to be divorced or your baby mama is dead. That's what I want. Yeah, I don't want nobody who's just running around, just what they call it. Can I say nutting? I don't know.
Yeah.
Run around nutting to people and just creating families and leaving them. No, I want to see that you've tried. Even, if it didn't work, that you tried, that you family plan. I want to know that you can count. That you pick girls who take their medicine or whatever like that. But I want to see you make good choices. And so as compared to we had another castmate, he had 5 children, 5 different women. And I was like, okay, well, that's not quite my style. First of all, that's expensive. I know how child support's calculated. That's 5 different households you have to support. But I was like, yeah, I can come on in there. And ladies, let's be realistic, right? At this point, I'm in my late 30s, and I want to have, my preference was 2 kids. So if he comes with 1, there we go. That's 1 that I don't have to be stretched out for, So I was like, good. He's got 1. I can add 2. I can have, boom, my 2. His child was 7. The other thing that I like about I'm for real,
Symone, I like you better now than I did from the show.
So many people, I love that because
thank you.
Yeah.
One, you didn't get to see all of her. Right? She's a lot at first. So in the beginning,
I love this personality.
It turned some people off, right? So to the story where how we got to this point, some of the guys, because we get in the guys' lounge, some of the guys were turned off by how aggressive she can be or a big personality.
I love it.
But one, that didn't I'm cool with that. I live in my masculinity. Whoa, let's rock, let's talk. But at the same time, I was like, whoa, she's a bit much, and that's a little different from what I had been used to, right? So when we get the other talking, so I'm not going to let anybody shape my opinion of somebody else. I want to find out and delve deeper.
By myself.
So she was already on my list of someone I was interested in, along with a couple of other ladies on the show, right? And so behind the scenes, I'm trying to, I want to go on a date with Symone. I want to go date with Symone. And me and her would talk about it. I want to go date with you. I want to go date with you. But they have their story arc, and we weren't able to gather to get with one another quick enough, right?
Yeah.
So eventually we got what everybody fell in love with, the back of the truck date.
Yes,
right?
that was beautiful.
Which was dope. I was able to set up. I'm in the car business. We got an old car.
Was that your idea?
Yes.
Yeah.
I still have, he actually wrote a note on a piece of paper and slid it under my room door, and I still have it. It was like asking me to meet him the next day at that time for that date.
Right. So on the show,
that's a Lateris move right there. I just want you to know, you sit up in the back of the truck.
So on the show, it's like she shot her shot and asked me out. Meanwhile, I had already told her, let's go out. She was like, cool, let's go out. But it made it seem like she shot her shot first, which is fine, cool. But so we have the date, and that's when we really, truly started to fall in love.
Yeah, I saw
because it was open, it was honest. That was real TV.
You can see that moment.
It was no cap, no nothing. Yeah. So fast forward, people like to, people on the internet like to throw jabs. Well, you were second pick. She never was that. If you see that, the way Ready to Love is formatted, you can get outvoted.
Yes.
And by that time, all the cats was ready for Symone to go. She was running everybody the wrong way. Except for me.
I didn't like them. Half of them didn't have passports, and other half had kids they had no business having. It wasn't right.
So I was the only one ready for the stage. Right.
It wasn't right.
On the show, in the men's lounge, I was like, yo, Symone is becoming my number 1. I would love for her to stay a couple more days or weeks for me to delve a little deeper. But everybody, I got outvoted. She got to go. Right. So she was never, I was already there with her.
But I was also speaking truth to some of the ladies about some of the men, their behavior, that they should just I'm not going to tell you don't date this person. I'm just going to say, hey, you should just be aware. For example, I had seen that there was a particular guy who he was changed depending on whose face he was, who he was in front of. And so I just said, just be aware of that. Fast forward, it wasn't until the finale that what I said proved to be true. Right. But so it was funny that, there were some guys who were like, oh, she over here telling my girl the truth. And there's other ones who were just like, she's just not for me. And I'm cool with that. But I get tickled when I hear, I would never date someone if I was their second choice. Listen,
go ahead, because I have something to say about that.
Everybody, for the most part,
I want to hear from the males.
That's what I'm saying. Do you know, unless you met the first person you met in your life, you decide to marry, we're all people, 100th choice, 50th choice. It's like, that's such an immature statement.
Yeah, people just trying to jam.
I agree. And I also feel like my philosophy is he's with her because he hadn't met me yet.
But I tell you, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Because you can't, if you haven't allowed him, like in that situation, there was only so much of him I allowed him to know of me.
Yeah.
So it's not even like he was rejecting me. You can't reject somebody you don't know.
Talk about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, in that truck, I was able to see how dope she was. And that's what now you and the world are seeing. She's special, bro.
Yeah,
like, she's dope.
And what's so dope about it is that I always say everybody don't have to get your person. That's why it's your person. Because at the end of the day, then you're gonna be competing with everybody taking their attention anyway. Mm-hmm. And if it's your person and y'all click in ways that y'all never clicked with anybody else, then y'all get each other. That's what makes it such a special relationship. And so that's what I see with you guys. Because at first, when when thinking about interviewing y'all, I was like, what is this dynamic? Because when I bring people on my podcast, it's very specific. I gotta really, I like it. We got the click. It's like they're a part of my journey. This podcast is my online journal. You know what I'm saying?
I like
so
that.
It's my online journal as I discover, uncover, and recover love. So people that I bring on the podcast are people that either represent my past, my present, or my future, something I desire to obtain in love. And so with y'all, by being a place where one of the days I'm developing a reality show. But in the reality show that I'm trying to develop is how to create real, authentic connections instead of making it so much of a competition type of thing. And so I was like, will this actually work? Like, what is birth out of these reality shows? Can you really get true, authentic love? And so it's beautiful that even behind the scenes, y'all had this connection on the show because they provided that opportunity. And then after the show, y'all begin to cultivate that. Yeah. So she gets voted off the show, then what happens? How do you feel?
So she gets voted off the show. I'm like, dang. So if people who watched it, I had another love interest at the time, right? I was in kind of a quad triangle or quad whatever.
And 4 people?
Yeah, there you go. So it was another young lady, and she was interested in myself and another guy, right?
Right.
And then at this point, we're going along the process, and I'm a competitor now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm trying to win.
Yeah, just trying to win.
I'm trying to win, and she's a great girl. Don't give me nothing negative to say about her at all. And the other guy, she was interested in, good dude. Me and him communicate. He just sent me a text the other day. Congratulations on our January 6th, the reveal of the proposal, right? And at this point, I'm like, let's ride it all the way out. I don't want to be looked upon as a quitter and things of that nature. And once you do that, OWN can then write their own storyline. Because I almost considered self-eliminating. Yeah. I was this close to self-eliminating. I was like, you know what? Let's just ride it out. So a lot of people saw how things went and transpired in the end when I was, clearly, I was actually, I'll give you some real behind the scenes.
Come on, talk.
So I was about to self-eliminate. They set up a whole episode or scene with me and Tommy, me and him by ourselves, like at a fire pit at night, telling him why I was ready to leave, right? And they were okay with it. They were cool. They didn't want me to go. I have my last scene with the young lady, and the parents were coming in town, right? And I decided my sister was going to be aired, but we decided to do something a little different because I was feeling something different.
Yeah.
So I was about to self-eliminate. Everybody could tell that. It was just in my demeanor.
Yeah.
And her dad was there. And she's like, you don't want me, my dad? I started thinking, in a split second, nobody knew I was going to decide to stay. Everybody was ready for me to give my concession speech and walk off. And you got this angel on this side, the other one. I said, that quick. You know what? If you leave this show, they're going to create their own storyline. You're a quitter, da-da-da-da-da. You want to work for anything. And I thought I showed everything. I left it all out there on the field. Showed how intentional I can be. And I try to communicate well. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to stay and meet your dad. Let me go ahead and stay and meet him. Because at that point, it was towards the end anyway. I already knew what her decision was going to be.
Yeah.
And I respected it. But at that point, it was about me. Let me just end this the right way.
Yeah.
So that's how it ended. And before she left, if you see when she got let go, all my homeboys will tell you this. We were all standing up. It was a group elimination. A guy got eliminated and she got eliminated. She was standing right next to me. And she bear hugged me before she left. And it was we was already there for the most part. And she left. And she texted me, blah, blah, blah. And she told me this when we got back. She was like, I don't know where me and your road is going to end. Or begin or end, or to what level our relationship is going to be. So all these little girls you're going to get in your DMs after this show, and you're going to travel the world and do what you want to do. You're going to be this, this man.
This influencer.
Yeah. I'm going to be in your life one way or another. We're going to be friends, or we're going to be lovers, or whatever.
I like that.
And it'll shake itself out.
That's some grown folks stuff. That's some grown folks stuff. Symone, you grown, aren't you?
I'm grown. I am. Because I felt like grown folks' love it's not just about what makes you happy. It's about what that person needs to feel fulfilled. And in this instance, when in completing the show, I felt he needed time to almost recalibrate.
Yeah.
To experience what is it like for people to recognize you when you go places.
Yeah.
I even told him, I said, well, you're so handsome and you're so kind. Who was your childhood? Who was your college crush? He said, Ashanti. I said, you should go in her DMs.
Bro.
You was coaching her like that?
She's the biggest gasser in the world.
Why were you doing that?
I really did want him to go through. First of all, I knew he was coming back to me. I wouldn't worry about that. Because I let him fall in love with my mind before anything else. So I wanted him to have those experiences.
Oh, you a pimp. Let me find out you a whole pimp out here.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a whole nother story how she tried to pimp KG Smooth from our show.
That was a really good idea. That was.
You said go out there slide her DMs because you said you knew for a fact he was coming back.
I knew he was coming
Why?
back.
Tell me why can you be so sure about that?
What I offer, I can't articulate. You have to just experience it. And I know that it's not for everyone. But largely from the back of the truck date, when I created a safe, vulnerable place for him.
Yes.
And I asked him, tell me about one of your insecurities from childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about it.
That's the foundation of how you love a man.
Oh, that's good. Stop. Hold on. I need to let that sit there. Rashid, what did you feel in that moment?
Bro, she's telling the truth, man. I was like, wow, this is something new for me. And right, she opened up because I'm jaded at this point, right? Because I've been divorced.
Yeah.
And, everybody says you get married to stay married, right? And I took my divorce very hard, very hard. You know what I'm saying? So I did the work. I did all the counseling. I did that and worked on myself. And I had to make sure that my son was prepared first before I was able to open my heart to her or anyone at the time.
Yes.
So I did the work, and I know kind of what I needed to be successful in a new space of chasing a relationship or valuing someone and them valuing me. And she gave me that opportunity because, this, men, we all the time, we don't feel we always can have a sounding board that we can come and release all of our hopes, dreams, and fears and aspirations to, right? And we may get some of that, but
you don't get all of it.
You need to know exactly.
You don't
what
get
we
all
need,
of it in
right?
that one person.
Right.
When you get that, that's why she could sit back and say,
Boom.
"He come back."
Right. So that she's telling 100% facts there, but at the same time she was living her life too. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Let me tell a story. Let me tell a story.
Tell us, Rashid, go ahead. Throw it on the bus.
I was out here living. She was too. Getting flued out. We texted. She in Dubai. Next thing she in the Maldives. I'm like, hold on. I know how frugal you are. You ain't paying for that.
Not at all.
Miss me. Miss me. Don't try to put it all on me. And she was on me, bro. And at the same time.
But Symone, you in the Maldives?
Right.
Yeah, I was like, hey, you want to FaceTime?
Yeah.
With the ocean in the background.
Right. Don't try to play these people. Don't cap.
Rashid, she ever try to FaceTime you while she out on a trip with another dude?
Right, come on, man. So, and
You
at the
saw
same
no
time,
feet. You saw no feet. You saw no nothing. It was just me. Who goes to Maldives by themselves? Come on.
right. And she did have a couple girls with her to camouflage it.
Sure did. Had one or two. That's right.
Man, don't play me
I was
like
there for like 28 days. I don't got that type of budget. I'm good at what I do.
28 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Traveling back and forth to the.
But between Dubai and the Maldives, just living my best black life.
You said for 28 days.
Right. Like, man, come on.
I'm sorry. I'm effervescent.
She said, don't be trying to fool me.
Right. So, and all this kind of stuff, I'm not really, real talk, I'm trying to stiff arm her best I can, because she was on me, bro. Don't let her take. So I was like, I'm trying to live this best life I got now, too. Let's pause the break. I know where you at. You know where I'm at. Right. We know each other gonna be back. Like,
right.
So, yeah, it was cool, though. I think everything happened in the right timing,
I love it. So how long was that phase?
That was
I'll be back. We're going to call it the I'll be back phase.
We were both dating other people. I would say it was from around about like, November, December-ish until like March.
Right, and I had a girlfriend at the time.
So about 6 months. About 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, 5 to 6 months, right? Yeah, you had a girlfriend.
You had a boyfriend.
Allegedly.
No, don't.
She said
so look. Some more inside information.
She talking about allegedly.
No, hold on. Your mic is off. All right, so we going to the airport. So I'm going to rewind. So we're in the height of the pandemic, right? We're in the height of pandemic.
Yeah.
So our episode is so unique. We're the only one that weren't in our city. It's a Houston-based cast, but we were shipped to a mountainous, we were at a lake resort in the northern mountains of Georgia.
Yeah.
So this was before vaccines and everything.
Yeah.
So they flew us out. We had to get tested 3 times a week.
Yes,
we had to quarantine in our room for 5 days, bro. It was like we was in prison. They was bringing the food to your door. I'm doing push-ups in the room because I can't come out, right? But anyway, so we all get dropped off. So when we get together, we start talking.
Dropped off at the airport.
Oh yeah, I got the story. Remember, your mic is off. So
yes, sir.
When all the fellas start talking, I get some inside information. She gets dropped off at the airport, leaving Houston to start our show by a dude. And kisses dude as she like, come on, bye, baby, let me go.
He kissed me.
Semantics. So she had a boyfriend.
He was not my boyfriend.
Okay. He thought he was.
No.
What was he?
He was someone I was exploring. I told him we need to see. Jesus wants me to do this. We're going to see what Jesus has in store for us. Okay? So at the end of this experience, we would determine where our relationship would go at that point.
Did y'all have any agreement where he said, hey, don't be falling in love with nobody, don't be sleep with nobody, don't be whatever?
I couldn't make him any promises. I said, I'm not your girlfriend, so don't do that. He asked me like to go by his granny's house and stuff. I said, I don't think we should do that. It wouldn't be right. We don't want to confuse that woman. She's on the last leg. Shame on us.
I don't want to confuse that woman.
Shame on us.
Shame on us.
And so you got some inside information. How did that information get leaked with the guys then, huh, Symone?
Oh,
One of the guys
goddamn
came.
cow fine. Darn it.
Mouth.
Darn it. He,
No, the GD part.
Yeah.
I said gosh darn. But he, hater. A hater on our cast. He saw it.
More than one. Not just him.
No. 2 people saw him kiss me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, they saw you do it.
Yes. So
Him
it got
do
back.
it, yeah,
Yeah, they saw.
We're
all
there
getting
was
into
like
the airport at the
nobody
same
in the
time.
airport. And at that point, nobody was traveling.
Yeah, for real, yeah.
So you saw other black people, you're like, oh, they're probably going to be on our cast. And I was like, why? And I was so angry. I was like, why would he do that? I was like, he's already trying to sabotage me. Ugh, that's why we don't go together.
You said you kissed him. You kissed him and got on the plane. Be like, oh, here we go. I'm finna go see for myself.
Yeah,
Let me go.
like you're not my boyfriend. That's why I was like, you don't get to nominate yourself my boyfriend. I get to consent, you know?
He had some reason to believe that he was your boyfriend. Don't act like this man escaped from the loony bin.
No,
and
we
just
were
call him,
dating.
like, come on now.
I had known him for 20 years. He should have expedited that process. That's not my fault.
Years.
That is not my fault. He should have been picked me or vice versa. You don't get to squeeze in here because it's a pandemic and you're bored.
That pandemic love was something else.
Oh,
wasn't it?
goodness. But yes, so
you was just with people by default. You be like, I see you. Well,
but then I knew he was serious when I was in the Maldives and stuff like that. And he called and he said, so when you coming back? I said, I think I'm going to come back on Thursday. He's like, finally? He said, you want me to pick you up from the airport?
There it is.
I said, got him, coach.
Got him.
Because nobody wants to pick you up from the airport in these days. A man will send you an Uber. He would do a Lyft. He would do anything except for have to go himself, waste his gas, and sit there.
Yep.
Especially when you're coming back international.
Yeah.
So when he did that, I was like, oh, this man was raised right, and he misses me.
Did you miss him?
Yeah,
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
What did you miss? So while she's sitting over here on this trip, how did you not let your ego get involved?
Man, because I knew I didn't have any claim or attachments on her. Like, I've never been one, I'm confident in myself and what I can bring to the table. I've never been a jealous person. I was like, hey, let her live. And because to that point, like, she's going to see I'm just different. Not better, not worse, just different. So I was okay with that. And like, again, I wasn't sitting at home twiddling my thumbs.
Rashid said, we can keep this energy. He said, we're going to match energy at this point.
Right,
we matching energy.
But I saw enough and was like, okay, let's really pursue this. So when she gets back, let's date with more intention.
So you knew that. You knew at that point that when she came back, you're going to spin it to a different level now.
Yeah, and then the cliche,
really
you could take it. When she got back, we've been together ever since.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why was that? What was it in her absence and that connection that y'all met originally that made you say, I've been out here in these streets, I done seen for myself, I want her to get back. And I'm finna start something on a different level.
Man, it was a conversation we did have when I guess she stepped away from whoever she was visiting. But she was, you know what? It's just
She said, hold on real quick. Let me,
right.
Look at me. Anyway, so what you doing?
Right. But I saw at the same time, she was giving me herself and she was showing me she wanted to get down with me as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was...
Because clearly that dude don't mean nothing if she over hitting you up.
And I'm a big advocate.
Yes, exactly.
If I know we're pulling in the same direction...
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So that was more the gist of like, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put the full court press. I'm going to do now my courting of you.
Yes.
I'm going to show you the courting and be chivalrous and show you the whole nine. Because at that point, we had conversations. We were attracted to one another. Our conversations were good. We were, like I said, pulling in the same direction. We wanted the same things. So now let me go ahead and really, really court you and bring you around my friends, family. And she hadn't met my son yet. So that was a big step. That's the next step.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take to get to that step?
I was
in months from the time
March.
she came back.
Yeah, I don't know that. When did she come back?
It was right after I came back.
Okay.
It was right around that
right,
time.
because
We say right back, same
like
month?
2 weeks. Yeah, same month. Same month.
yeah.
Same
So
month.
again, I didn't want to play with it because I didn't want to waste too much time. So okay, we had some initial conversations, hung out, and I said, okay, genuine person. She loves kids. And she's really good with them. And we had the same kind of parenting goals and what she wanted in her life. So I was like, okay, this is the next step because I don't want to waste my time.
Yeah.
So this is the next step. Meet him in a casual setting, and then boom, she loved it. She loved him, and he hit it off with her, and then there we go.
I want you to explain this real
Yes.
quick. You said casual setting because a lot of people are dating with kids. When you said casual, how'd you bring this meeting together?
What was the first meeting?
It was Salt Lake Steakhouse. It was a restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So he loves Sawgrass. So
that bread.
we were taking, boy. So it's just me and Daddy, him and Daddy.
Yeah.
We're gonna go out there and say, hey, I'm gonna have a friend of mine come meet us here.
Yeah, that's
a
how you
little
do it.
different. She can come and she can leave, and that's what she
He
did.
was coloring.
She
Yeah.
came, sat down, met, talked to him for a little while. She said, okay, I'm gonna let you boys finish your father-son time, and she left.
Perfect.
And I didn't know she was gonna do that. Boom. That
What
stood
made
out
you
to
do
me.
that? That's very smart. What made you do that?
Because I know how much he appreciates that time, and he only gets him every other weekend. And so for him to not have that much time with him, I didn't want it to be monopolized by a grown folks conversation, but also because part of reason we were meeting is he was in the doghouse. That was first time that
was
I
my
had been
first-
upset with him.
yeah.
And it was something
So
small.
I just
It
bought
was
that house.
a miscommunication of like, he told me, he was like, hey, I really need your help to look over a contract or something on Friday. Can you help me? And
Well,
I
she was
rearranged.
going to come look at the house, right? And then,
Oh, look at the house, yeah.
And then
And it
my
was-
my cousin came by instead.
And I go on the Instagram, and it's him and his cousin on the roof smoking cigars. he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I didn't rearrange my whole evening. I even put on my makeup. You owe me $32 for that nap.
Okay, charge it.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
So I was like, "Oh, he's slick." He is now, to kind of get out of the doghouse, he's showing me how much he cares because I get to meet his son. But I looked at him and I said, we got to talk later. And he said, "Yeah, baby, sure."
We ain't never even had that conversation.
Not even talking about it.
No.
Because
but
that moment of meeting his son was
I knew,
superior to
yeah.
all the other nonsense.
he wasn't just using it like to do a thing. Like,
no, I wouldn't use my son for that.
And I knew he was serious too because I don't really do it to people that's not my boyfriend.
Yeah.
If I want them to be my boyfriend, if I just want you to be some muscle, that's a different story. But here, I knew that I wanted something substantial, so I made him wait, and he never gave me any problems with that. And like I said, that 6 months or whatever, he wasn't sniffing it.
Yeah, no, I've done that before in other relationships. I wanted to wait before we got to the physical because all of the cool, we being, looking at each other like, two dogs in heat.
Yeah.
That's going to subside at the end of the day
Yeah.
eventually. I want to know if we can match each other's energy when we're sitting on the couch and there's nothing to say.
Yeah.
And we're watching TV and
Yes.
can we have that kind of energy? Because the physical stuff is going to fade. So I was cool with it at that point. So I'm like, okay, cool. So it wasn't like, so
Why
people
you looking
I
at
didn't
it
do
like
it. I didn't do it to her, like to act that way, and okay, I'll wait for her and then go do it to other people.
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
I don't mind if you do.
That's what I want to know. I want to know.
Nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
That didn't hurt my feelings.
But it had to do something with me and my preparation.
Understood.
So I wanted to come into it the right way. And again, I've done it before. So it wasn't no issue for me. So I didn't waiting with you and then sowing my royal oats somewhere else. I was cool chilling. I was cool.
But I was going to say, I think also that is part of what made me feel very okay with not only saying, hey, you go explore.
Yeah.
And I'm also confident that you're coming back. I wasn't confident because I done just laid it on him so great. No, it was deeper than that. It was bigger than that. And I knew that I would be okay because I hadn't given myself to him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Who would have thought?
I don't know.
Who would have thought y'all crazy self sitting over here waiting to have sex?
Yep. And I tell her that all the time. I was like, man, probably people think you just swinging from the shoulder. Like,
bust it wide open and she tell me bring it back. Bust it wide open and she tell me bring it back.
Yeah.
That what you think?
I ain't gonna lie. I thought that.
Yeah. He said,
let's keep it
I thought
100.
you'd be swinging from the chandeliers. I said, I get that a lot.
She said, I get that a lot.
I get that a lot.
He said you get that a lot.
I get that a lot. I'm sorry to disappoint you too.
She's like,
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
right, she's like that. If you're not her boyfriend,
You better scram. Scram. Scram.
So you felt like if you had sex with somebody, they had to be your boyfriend?
Yeah. Because I went to Catholic school like all the way through.
Yeah.
But also like my friends that in the 10th grade, I dated the captain of the football team for DeSoto. We're not gonna name names, but he dumped me because I wouldn't do it to him. And then he was in love with me for like the next decade because I wouldn't do it to him. And I said, well, I think I'm on to something.
Yeah.
Seems to me. And my mother had always told me when I went off to college, she said, look, if you're a good girl, you're going to have some very lonely nights. By that, she means waiting.
Yeah.
You're a good girl, you're going to have some very lonely nights. But if you're a naughty girl, you're going to have some very lonely nights too.
So I told your mama be laying it down too.
Yeah, because she said, with the good girls, it's gonna at first the guys are gonna like it, and they're gonna figure out, oh, she's a good girl. But then they're gonna start calling you again around about the junior senior year, or when their moms come to town, when they have the football banquet, the basketball banquet, they're gonna want to take you. The naughty girl, they're only gonna call her at the nighttime. She don't get to go they don't take her to Shoney's. They don't take her to Luby's. Those are cafeterias here that were a big deal.
I know that was big. Shoney's boy.
Shoney's
that
what
was
that
big.
was.
The truth.
Yeah, they don't get to go out in public. They might get something left over from the cafeteria at the schoolhouse. But she said, I don't want that for you. And, so you just decide you want to be a good girl or not a girl. And so I said, okay.
Hey, your mama, I like that. I like that.
And then my girlfriends in college, when the time came, I said, I had a boyfriend, we'd been together, whatever. And I said, well, I think I'm ready to do it, y'all. And my girlfriend said, they said, don't do it, because once you pop, you can't stop. And I said, oh, my God. oh, what am I going to do now? Shoot. So I said, okay, I'm going to make a rule.
She do remind me of Whitney from A Different World.
Yes. That Southern drill. I'm telling you,
What am I going to do now? What am I going to do?
Goodness gracious.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Goodness gracious.
Right. So I said, okay, my rule is I'm only going to do it to boyfriends. That way I'll cut it down. I got so good at this, girls. When I get to be in my 20s, you know, and I found out about Miami and I used to get flued out and go out there, you know, with the little, back when I was age appropriate for the NFL players. When they would be like really like wild and I'd be like, I don't want to deal with them. What I would do if I wanted to make them go away is I would say, oh, I really think I'm ready for a relationship. And they'd be like, oh, I'll call you never. That's how I get to go away.
After you've taken the benefits of being free.
You take the benefits.
Nice little trip. Yeah. Or what I would do is I was very kind. We'd go to like live in the different nightclubs and then I'd let the closers close. I leave around about 1:30 or 2.
The closers close?
Yeah, and I let the closers come in who are going to do it to you. That way you can get your bottle's worth. Y'all paid a lot of good money for this. Somebody needs to do it to these boys, and it's not going to be me. To this day, hold on, I got to say one more thing.
You're so thoughtful. You know what, Symone? You're so thoughtful.
Let me tell you, to this day,
You make sure everybody wins, don't you?
that's my goal. I want everybody's life to be better after having been my friend. I do want that. I do. Let me tell you what's Dubai.
She said the closers. They come in. She called them the closers.
That's how I ended up staying like a month in Dubai because I had a rule. We were going out with these Africans. Some of them were very handsome and some of them maybe not so much. And I had a rule. I said, let me tell you something, girls. Y'all run this bill up, past $1,000, somebody's got to do it to them. And it's not finna be me. So y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Fact, she told me this story, bro.
I did.
For real.
Them boys were sitting right there. They looked at each other and they said, oh, we love Symone. We love Symone. Talk amongst yourselves.
You say it right in front of the guys.
Yeah. And I pointed to myself, somebody's got to do it to them. And it's not going to be me. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Over here ordering lobster on somebody else's dime.
Oh, God.
And you know good and well, you don't want him to touch you. That's not right. That's unchristian. It is.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Something wrong with you.
Yes.
What you saying?
And her
Not
storytelling, bro, is like.
Symone, it's not Christian.
It's unchristian. You're going to have to report on that. You have to tell St. Peter what your thought process was. Don't do them men like that.
So how did you transition? At what point? I want a timeline. So she comes back from the Maldives around what month was that? In 2020?
Into March.
Of 2020?
Of 21.
2021. Mm-hmm. The end of March.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then y'all date exclusively from what time period?
You know, God, I don't never remember the time, man. You know, she tells me.
So
I
he
was like,
didn't.
yeah, that's
I
right.
will tell you. Yes.
Yeah, you know,
we didn't have the conversation.
Are we exclusive?
But we were doing all of the things. But a week before his family reunion, he had the conversation.
Oh yeah,
that's
right.
I think he overheard me tell a story about somebody bringing me to a family reunion and introducing me as the girlfriend, and I was like, who?
Yeah.
Who y'all talking about? I'm here for the barbecue. And
So yeah, one night we were sitting on the couch, right? We was just sitting on the couch, just leisurely hanging out. You know, it's one of those deals where we both have our own places, and you know, city of Houston's huge.
Yeah.
So she's on the other side of town. She would always be over at my place. It'd take 30, 35 minutes. I just got a new house, and I was like, you know, hey, you want to be my girlfriend? Just like on some. She's like, what? Yeah, you want to be my girlfriend? She's like, I guess so.
I said, well, what is the alternative?
That was only right. The alternative? And so we started. She got back in March. It didn't take long. What do you think? March?
No, what happened was, it was March. I went on a date with one insane person. He literally went to the bathroom and came back and said, I'm having so much on this. He said, I'm having so much fun. I want to take you somewhere. I said, well, you know, if we go somewhere, you're going to have to take your medication every day. I didn't know what he was on, but it had to be something prescribed. And he revealed himself. He said, I just told myself that in the bathroom. I said, you know what I'm talking about. I said, that's enough. I got the Uber and I went straight to his house. I went straight to your house. Mm-hmm. And after that, I didn't go on a date with nobody else.
He said, that's what I told myself.
He said, that's what I told myself just now in the bathroom. I said, what kind of medications are there? He lists some out, some bipolar and this, that, and the third. And he said, that's why he wasn't drinking, because it doesn't go well with his medication. And I said, okay, this ain't gonna
Yeah,
work.
I feel sorry for what you had to deal with out
Yeah,
there.
I took an Uber straight to that guy. The man was mad because he was trying to take me like
Yeah.
to another place after. I said, "Oh no, I'll get an Uber, thank you." He's like, "You going to that yellow man's house, ain't you?" I said, "If y'all get off my Instagram."
Right. So I have
That
one
was
thing
it.
to tell her when she tells stuff like that, and I said, "You're welcome."
You're welcome. I saved you. Thank me. You're gonna
I
thank
think
me
that
for
you
a
know when you
lifetime.
smile, you know, on those Dentine commercial, I think that
Yeah.
little ting,
Yeah, ting.
and the little sparkle.
Yes.
So at what point then? So now y'all dating exclusively at this
Yes.
point.
Yeah.
You said, "Will you be my girlfriend?" Circle yes or no, and she circled yes.
Yes. Yeah.
She circled I guess.
Yeah.
So she circled I guess, and now y'all on this courtship.
Yeah.
Simone, in your mind, did you say, "I ain't finna be no girlfriend for no 2 years"?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What did you say?
So-
What was the shot clock?
My mind was he has one, I was going to give him 1 full year to start talking about actual steps, like ring shopping, this, that, and the third. 1 full year to do that,
And
and
where'd
then
you
a
get
year
that?
and a
Where
half.
did you get that philosophy from?
I don't know. My calculation. My
Or who did
mom's.
you always bring that up to me? Who you heard that from?
Oh, I say Kevin Samuels. That's the only thing I agree with that man on. That's it.
You
That's all
quoted.
you're getting. That's all you're
She
getting,
would quote
buddy.
it. And then one time I come home, she's getting ready. I'm about to take her out somewhere. She's getting ready, listening to Kevin Samuels right there on it. I'm like,
And he's
got
getting
him, coach.
excited. No.
Got him, coach. I walk on back downstairs. I let her finish. Go ahead,
It's
keep
the
listening.
same reason people watch train wrecks. We're like, well,
You
how
can't
bad-
turn away. That's fine.
We're like, well, how bad is it gonna get?
You gonna get something.
You know, they're gonna lose an arm, a limb, one eye, or both.
But at the same time you watch that train wreck, you're going to calculate if you can beat that train or not. You're going to learn something from that wreck.
He so did.
Carry on.
And so you said a year.
I
So-
said, yeah, a year.
Oh God. So you said a year, and then what? And so
A year, concrete, ring on my finger within 16 months. Please and thank you. Yes. And I had an augmentation plan, kind of speed it up if I felt like he was dragging a little bit, which was because I'm older. I'm like, well, I need to put these eggs in the refrigerator
Yes.
or they get spoiled.
yes.
And so I would just reiterate that that's going to be $20,000. And so I would talk about, well, how would you like to plan for this $20,000?
That's a good thing. That's a good.
Because I'm not rushing, babe.
I ain't
We can go
rushing,
as-
but we gonna
can
see
go
how we
as low
gonna
as your wallet can afford. Check a charge.
So when she was saying that, what'd you think, Rashid?
She's crazy. One. And then two.
He said, "That's your personal maintenance."
Right, exactly. Sound like a personal problem. I mean, she always says that, and I like to sometimes give it back to her. But my timeline was similar, but I wasn't going around expressing it all the time. Telling this is my timeline, this is my time, because I wanted things to happen organically. And she, for the most part, she did that. But I understand women who's
Yeah, because
getting a
they
certain-
get baited for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
A dude be sitting there for 5 years talking
Yeah,
about who's gonna be
yeah.
there.
Playing in our face.
and I understand.
And then break up with you and marry somebody else in 6 months.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I didn't even want to be his girlfriend for that
She did
reason.
say-
Yeah.
There was an article I had read in Cosmo it was by a white woman, of course. It said, I refuse to be anyone's girlfriend. I would only be a fiance. And basically what she did was she dated guys and basically said, until you're ready to propose, I'm going to keep seeing other people. I did try that on him, and he was very diplomatic. I said, well, we don't have to be boyfriend and girlfriend. We can just, date each other until, you feel ready to propose. And we were driving the car, and I really thought he was be like, girl, you sound crazy. And he was like, we can talk about what that would look like in context at another time. And then he just never mentioned it again. So
That's how I learned from her mother how to speak to her. Boom, let's bring it back.
yeah,
never brought it up
She ain't brought it up again. How many men have she heard give her that response? Nobody.
no, everybody else be like, this is stupid. And then I go to explaining why it's not stupid and why I think he was stupid or, something like that. And I said, well, gosh darn it, what do I got now?
What leverage do I have?
Nothing. He's over here being insane.
Yes.
I hate it when he does that. Last night, I left the window down on his porch while his water got in the car. And I was so aggravated by the fact that I had no possible way to blame it on him. I said, God dog it. I got to take responsibility. Yes.
I had no possible way to blame it on you.
I tried everything. I was like, you should have parked in the
Because
garage.
I tell her all the time, I said,
street
men
parking.
get tired of that. Y'all always we always get blamed for everything. When it's clearly it's your fault. Like, come on, man, take that. And then what I surprised her too. I was very calm.
You were.
I was like, well, it's okay.
I was scared.
Just
I
grab
thought it was like a
towel.
whooping was about to come later. Like when
Hold
you're a
on,
kid.
don't say that. Wait, you got to
Not
give
like
context
that.
to that.
No,
Hold on.
I mean like when you're a child.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
when
about.
you get home, you get chastised really bad. I thought maybe that.
Yeah,
But you were
Please
calm the
provide
whole
context
way.
on that.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
won't take
fine.
no excerpts from this.
Yeah, no.
So y'all look at this. Y'all were ready to love. Now y'all ready to marry. How do y'all know that y'all are ready to marry?
Great question.
Man, we've done the work. Like, real talk. Like I said, those tough conversations, bro, up front. And we, like, she would say one time, I'd say this all the time. She's like, man, you acting like you want me to not like you. I'm like, basically, I am for the most part.
I'm trying to give you everything.
Everything.
And if it's gonna fall apart now, then let it fall apart.
If you still here, boom. So that's basically what it was. In a nutshell, we talked about life experience. We want to make sure we're pulling in the same directions, where we want to be financially, with my career goals, what I want, because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a hustler. I'm a salesperson. By heart.
Yeah.
And she is an entrepreneur to a certain degree. She's an attorney. She has her own law firm, which is crazy. I've helped step in. I'm working on her law firm for her to help grow it.
That's good.
To my abilities, like the
yeah.
marketing and stuff
you
like
come
that.
in on your strength, and she comes in on her strength with
and
you.
She's helping with me for my car game and my dealerships and everything that's to come. But we worked on that. We talked about children. I want more kids. I don't want the one son. You know what I'm saying? So that was all in alignment. And she was still standing there when I gave her all my awards. So boom, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. And I feel for me, it was the way he takes care of me, like as he explained, and now I realize it's because he literally researched and learned how to do it. And the way he leads me the way I'm able to follow. That's critical. And he's always adapting. Because one of my fears is growing apart. I don't worry about that with him because he's so willing to grow and change and do something better or try something in a different way. And that's so important. And particularly, I knew I was ready to marry him when I made like a little list of like, you know, the things about him that irked me. I didn't write it down, but I listed the things that irked me. And I thought, okay, or are these things you want to change about him, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can't go in expecting someone to change who they are.
Yeah.
And I realized the things that I wanted tweaked or changed, they weren't things I wanted changed. They were actually things he wanted to adjust about him that he was already working on.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, wait a minute. The only things that I have issues with are things that keep him up at night about himself.
Yeah, that I know
he's
about myself.
striving and pushing and driving to do. Let's do this together.
Yeah, I'm big on that because I played college basketball. I used to coach college and high school basketball before I got into the car business. And one thing I always learned is know your personnel. Know your own personnel. Know your strengths and weaknesses because you're never going to get it all. So I've always been kind of cognizant and have some self-awareness. Of course, I fall short. We all do.
Of course.
But
just being aware of it is half the battle.
Sometimes I got to, remember, this ain't your strong suit. So lean on somebody for that. Or then tell that to someone. Because you disguise it, then you're going to be upset. And the other person is like, I thought I can help you here. I should have known these type of things.
And most importantly, I want to say he's one of the few men in my life that doesn't fear me. Men fear me. And I have to say, I must have been doing something to make them feel that way. But that has not been an issue in our relationship. In my situation, the fear would show up as men feeling that they couldn't make me happy. And that I would only temporarily be happy and that one day they'd wake up and I would be gone.
Yeah. Well, she did. When we first met, she did tell me she was a runner. Mm-hmm. But you remember what I told you?
Which part?
When you told me I'm a runner, typically when stuff like.
What'd you say? You say wherever you run, I'm gonna end up there with you.
No.
That's what I told the girl I was dating. I said, "You gonna run wherever you run to. I'm gonna be right there with you when you get there."
Yeah, I did. I actually did the opposite because in sales we have what we call a takeaway close, right? You take it away.
You take something away from the deal.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. This isn't the car for you.
Yeah.
Let me find one without a sunroof.
Yeah.
No, I want the sunroof.
I want the sunroof. I just want this price.
Right. Well, there's cost involved with that sunroof, sir, ma'am. I said, you're a runner? That's fine. I understand those things. And as long as you tell me that, I'll be okay with whatever destination you're trying to find because I'm good over here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess I'm going to Act my behind right.
So y'all both pimping. Y'all both pimping. Y'all got some game, boy. Y'all both got some game. You like, look, I'm gonna handle you like this. She's I'm gonna handle you like that. She's like, you go out there and go have fun. Go have fun. So I don't care. Go smash these women. I don't care. You ain't getting it from me. Enjoy yourself. I'm not mad at all. You like, why aren't you mad?
Right.
Do you not really like me?
Yes. And sometimes we'll recognize it we'll call it, man, you gaming me right now. Stop. Why you doing that?
Why you doing me like
I pull the cover off all that. I do that too. We do that to each other like, Rashid, stop. I'm not one of your clients. I'm not a
Yes. You're not selling this to me.
I love the way y'all operate with each other. What's the thing in closing? What do y'all look for to gain in marriage? Because you got to think about it. Y'all have a beautiful relationship. Mm-hmm. Y'all clicking very well. Most people say when you get married, that's where all the issues come about.
Yeah.
Because the reason why that is because now you become a threat to the devil. That's why the scripture says that what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. Is because once you actually come together under covenant, now y'all are a threat. And so my question to you is, y'all have this great relationship. Y'all live together. So what is it that you believe marriage is going to afford that y'all don't already have?
Marriage that I've learned is a partnership. At the end of the day, because love is there, but relationship stuff is going to go up and down. And that's one of the things we talked about. She hadn't been married. And I'm like, y'all hear all this stuff and it sounds cute and blah, 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 blah. We banter back and forth, but there's going to be days where you hate me. I hate you. Da, 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 da. Yeah. I'm trying to tell her, this stuff is not going to be lollipops and rainbows all the time. Nope. We're not going to get this whatever square foot home, 2.5 kids, a dog, a station wagon, and a picket fence.
Yeah.
That's for storybook stuff,
yeah.
right? But the love is going to look different sometimes. So to me and her, she's well established, I've well established. It's a merger of two companies and corporations coming together, right? And then we have those tough conversations up front. We know where each other stand. And the love will get us through all of the tough stuff. But the idea that it's not going to be perfect and we got to have our little battles, because I was immature in my first marriage thinking that it was going to be lollipops and rainbows, right? And we tried to avoid conflict, try to avoid not having discussions. What we do now, we have it out.
Yes.
We have it out. We going to say some things to each other, but boom, we move on. All right, let's go get something to eat.
Right.
That same day. Versus in the past, I've let it fester.
Yeah.
And we used to champion the fact that we don't argue. I think that was the wrong way to do things, because when it does come out, it's a snowball. And all
you arguing
is
about
built up
something for the last 6 months.
Yeah,
all 6 months of stuff coming out in this one thing. Just because she didn't offer you a slice of her pizza. You're like, where did all this come from? You be like, everything come back. And that's what 5 months ago, I remember when you didn't, you picked me up from work late. You're like, what are you talking about? You're selfish. You're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we got into it on the car right here.
Oh, we did.
5 minutes later, I'm sorry, baby. You like, all right, cool.
He was like, I love you. And I was like, okay, good.
Right.
Let's eat a cookie, please. But he don't like me having too many sweets. So I was like, let me get a cookie out of there.
Can I get a cookie out of there? All right, go ahead, eat a cookie. Go ahead.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, man, as long as we have a cornerstone value of where we want to go, we're doing a family vision board. We're going to include my son in that vision board.
Yes.
And as long as we're pulling in the same direction, and I understand that it's not always going to be sunshine. You know what I'm saying? And that's the overall arc that I want us to have. Pull in the same direction, understand that we're better and stronger together, and we can defeat anything. And, once we rock together, we rocking. So
Symone, you've never been married before. You watch your mom and dad spend how many years together?
They've been together like 43.
43 years of an example of what marriage looks like. Why do you want to get married, and what do you believe marriage is going to afford you or bring into your life?
I think for sure I want to get married because I want to be with my best friend and live with my best friend and build a world with him and a family with him. I think life is going to be better together overall. Just like how I have, my best girlfriends. This is like my best friend that I do it to, right? I love that. And I know, and I know that without him, I will never be my best self. I will not reach all my goals in business. I will not reach all my goals in my personal life. He drives me to the club and picks me up with my girlfriends because I got real bad peripheral vision. Yeah. You know, it's just like the little support and things of help that I have in my life. I just know professionally from his ideas, from this and that, I am going to be my best self. And one of my worst fears is to never reach my full potential. But I know with this man, I will, because there are other men out there that will prevent you from reaching your potential.
On that note, wow. I'm the Terrace R. Whitfield, and I say that y'all are ready to marry.
Yes.
Thank you.
When I tell you that right there is absolutely amazing. When I tell you, I like y'all a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
I didn't know
Appreciate it,
much
bro.
about y'all. When I saw y'all on the show, I see, I take stuff with a grain of salt when I watch TV. I be like, you seeing because I'm a producer. I produce national plays. So I always see that stuff has been produced at the end of the day to create storylines or whatnot. And what I see, the storyline that's been produced off camera far exceeds the storyline that was on camera, because even on camera, the storyline came to an end, and now this is going to last until the wheels fall off, until y'all old and gray and sitting on the porch drinking cold glasses of lemonade.
Yes,
you
sir.
know,
Yes.
And that's what I see for y'all. Y'all have a beautiful dynamic. It's so encouraging to see. I speak blessings over y'all's union. Have y'all picked a date? Have y'all released the date when y'all gonna get married?
So we've got the month. It's in April. We're going to release the date on our YouTube channel.
Good. Good.
Y'all can see us there.
And I'm
Rashid.
gonna drop a link. I'm gonna drop a link for their
Thank you.
channel. Make sure y'all go follow it.
Yeah.
Man, I've been very encouraged by y'all. I like
you,
y'all.
man.
Y'all got a cool
you.
personality. I love the dynamic that y'all got going on. And it's like y'all's each other's yin and yang. It's like Symone is crazy as all get out.
Yes.
And y'all balance each other out so well. And I see that y'all gonna have many years of laughter, many years of playing around, and many years of amazing sex, and many years of creating legacy and doing business and making money, and just many years of just doing purposeful work. So keep doing what y'all doing. This season is called Miracles and Manifestations. So one of the things that I've wanted, and this is my low-key little desire, is I've wanted to host a reunion show of Ready to Love. You know, I've always wanted to. You have to?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Man,
I want to take Thomas' job, to be honest with you, Tommy.
See,
I love you.
I want to take his job. I just want to take that moment. I want to just sit in the reunion show and just talk about. Let me talk. Let me interview that. Or even better yet, that one of the things that they would do, like in leading up to the reunion, is they would have to come and do a mock interview after they zeroed in on the couples. Come do a mock interview with me on Dear Future Wifey, so I can ask some real questions and get some stuff out in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So that'd be dope. So. Will Packer, been to your house before on your birthday. So hey, putting that out there.
Yeah, and
so,
we'll do the couples version.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
And it's they're casting here in Dallas. It's
I know it. That's what I'm saying. So I've
it
heard
is-
about all that.
It's there.
Yeah, they
It's
come right here and see
there.
you.
Yeah, they come right around here. They right here in
Yeah.
Dallas. The season pops off in March.
Yeah, Uncle Will
so
make
it's
it
gonna be
happen.
great. Yeah, so they, shooting starts in March. So it's gonna be great. Listen, blessings y'all once again. I'm dropping y'all's handle, YouTube channel, as well as y'all Instagram. Make sure y'all look at the description on YouTube to connect with them. Amazing dynamic couple. Continue to watch their journey. It's so inspiring. Hey, y'all give it up for Symone Redwine and my homie Rashid Floyd.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Ladarian, thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have Been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young Black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical context, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Laterras R. Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today. It was such an honor to have Rashid and Symone on the podcast. I love the show Ready to Love. And it was just an honor. And to actually get a chance to meet them personally, an amazing couple. I love when I see people that you initially wonder, like, okay, how did they find each other? What makes them click? And then when you get an opportunity to sit down and talk to them, you really understand that, yeah, they were definitely made for each other. I love that their families are in alignment. I just love all that. So I wish y'all the best of luck. Symone and Rashid, I pray that God keeps y'all until death do you part, that y'all honor y'all's covenant, y'all honor each other, and y'all value each other. And keep the main thing, that's the covenant that you guys have between each other. Well, here's my favorite part of the podcast where I speak to my future wifey. Dear future wifey, words, syllables, verbs, nouns and pronouns, adjectives and adverbs woven together to convey my love for you, to express my thoughts for you. You, not you like my favorite Netflix series, but you. The you who keeps me hopeful during the moments I feel hopeless. You. I wonder who you are. Delicate footsteps trample my mind, leaving imprints of words you've spoken. I desire you. I don't just want you, I desire you. I need you like oxygen. When the pastor says you may now kiss the bride, the kiss will resuscitate me. Each breath I inhale from your mouth-to-mouth resuscitation will resurrect a husband that has laid dormant since I took my first breath out of my mother's womb. With you, I'm born again. Your future hubby.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving. Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.